Hi. Hello, Craig. You in tonight? Welcome back. We missed you last week. Alison and Andrew. Hello, Craig. Hello, Fiona. Um, I, I was so intrigued how we might be pronouncing Grizzy. I couldn't work it out. Anyway. um, hello, Shell and Andrew and Cotty and John. Hello, David. Lovely to see you guys. What a beautiful day. Oh, hang on. I've forgotten to turn my light on. Now, Shell, this light that you've given me, hang on a sec. Let's get a bit of light. Shed a bit of light on the subjects. There we go. It's just a little bit brighter. There we go. Hello, Greg and Hayley. Cracking day on the peninsula. Absolutely. It's been just gorgeous. Right. Pinot Gris and spicy vegetables. What more could you want in life, hey? So now let me just check my notes. I had something that, Alison, I can absolutely share my cucumber recipe with you. And we have a new follower who I don't know whether you're there live tonight, but Diana, lovely to meet you, lovely to welcome you to Drinks with Kate. So whether you're watching tonight or whether you catch up later, welcome. Great to have you here. And yes, we do have some 2018 Pinot Noir for you and any of you guys who want to buy it. I've just been really slack with getting the link organised, so I'll send that out to you guys in the next few days. It's been a bit of a thing. Anyway, woo. Hello, Nareem. I haven't had this. No, I know it's a bit tough when you come to a Pinot Gris lunch and then you get to Pinot Gris at Drinks with Kate the next thing. Thank you, Craig. It's actually I just had it cut again, so it's a little bit shorter again. But thank you. Hello, Sam, Paul, and the twins. Lovely to see you, and Sarah. I nearly missed you, Sarah, and all the tricks. G'day. All right, sip of water. I've got two hungry dogs with me today because they've just come back from their walk. Frodo's there being Bolshy, and Polly, I don't know, she's very sooky. I don't know what's going on. But there's Polly. Oh, so sad. I don't know what's sad, but anyway. It's very sad, isn't it, Paul? You okay? No? Oh dear, she's been naughty all day and now she's sad. Children playing up, it's terrible. Anyway, let's have some Pinot Gris, hey? Hello, Sue and Daryl. Lovely to see you. Right, Pinot Gris. This is true, Fiona. It is always sad at the end of that special time of the day, but they did have a very good one. They get to run all over the vineyard, so it's really she can't complain. She's probably hungry. All right, Pinot Gris 2019. Now, a few of you did have this wine on Sunday because we released it on Sunday, but quite a lot of you haven't had it yet, I don't think. So 2019 Pinot Gris is what we're opening tonight. Let's get this open, get it in the glass. What are people eating tonight? I know some of you have got takeaway coming in. Oh, Cuddy's doing the couscous. Unreal. I think it's a beautiful recipe. And even Mum said to me, too many ingredients, Kate. And there are a lot of ingredients. And Ottolenghi also says, you had Comte. Is it all gone, Fiona? That's a shame. But even Yotam says in his recipe that people have complained there are too many ingredients in that couscous. But it's actually, once you've got all the ingredients together, it's actually relatively straightforward. So I had to put it all very good, Fiona. Yes, dogs do love a nice smelly cheese. So if you haven't done the couscous tonight, I do recommend it. It's lovely. It's got just the right amount of spice for this Pinot Gris to cope with, I hope. So Pinot Gris can cope with a little bit of spice. So I talked to a couple of you over the week about Indian food with this, and I think that that's going to go very well. So I think, Shell, you were one of the people who asked me about it, so I'll be very interested to know how your takeaway goes tonight. Ottolenghi, Andrew calls it Ottolenghi start on Tuesday. Nice. He does like a long recipe, doesn't he? Curry tonight, Alison. Excellent. Keely wants some of Peter's salad to go with the wine. Oh, that salad was jolly good, wasn't it? Yes, or a little. We could have gone mushroom risotto or arancini balls or something like that, which is what we served on Sunday with this, which was pretty good too. Now, the reason I'm sitting here like a ning nong with my bottle and not pouring is because I've brought 3 different glasses to the table. Now, I know quite a lot of you have already done the whole glass conversation. Curried chicken tarts, how beautiful, Craig. Joan, you have outdone yourself again. Well done. So I've brought 3 different glasses to the table, and I know that some of you have done this before, so just drink your wine quietly while I go through this, and I'll do it quickly, I promise, because I'm quite looking forward to having a glass of Pinot Gris as well. The wine served this wine in on Sunday when people arrived was the Riesling glass or the Sangiovese glass, this is the shaped glass that I used when I was studying for my Master of Wine. It's a good all-round glass. It works for all grape varieties. It doesn't bring out the best in pretty much any grape variety, really, possibly a nice Chianti Classico or possibly a Riesling, but I think it's a very fair glass. It makes everything look look good, but not too good, and nothing looks terrible in this glass. So if you're only going to buy one shaped glass, that is the shape that I would go for. My father would disagree with me. He really likes these glasses, which are the glasses that we have in Cellar Door. These are the Magnum glasses, and they also work really well as all-rounder glasses. For me, they're just a little bit they're a bit bigger, and I like the shape of the Sangiovese glass better, but these work well as all-round glasses as well. They look a little bit more like the shape. So these are both Riedel glasses, and Riedel was probably the first of the glass companies to really go into customizing glasses for different grape varieties, but there's a few other glass companies that do it now. Zalto makes some beautiful glasses, which I'm too scared to buy because they're expensive, and they've got the thinnest stems in the world, and I just know I'll break them the second time I use them. Plum is a local glass producing company that do some nice glasses. So there's a few different options, but we invested in Riedel a long time ago at Moorooduc, and once you've got a whole lot of glasses, it's easy to replace the few that you break with the same ones rather than changing them around. The Zalto glasses are outrageously light, David. They just scare me. I love them when I go to a restaurant and someone serves them to me, but Craig wants to know, does this taste a lot more mature than its age, getting the dairy notes more than fruit? Well, Craig, I don't know because I haven't tasted it yet. I'll get onto that in a minute. This is a lovely exactly, David. This is a lovely glass. You've seen me drink out of this many times before. I drink my older Pinot Gris out of this, and we used this at the lunch on Sunday. We had the wine in this glass to start off with, and then we transferred it to this glass, and it changed the flavours and the characters of the wine completely. So I had to say that first, Craig, because that sort of answers a little bit of your question. So I'm going to put some in this glass first. And I think that this glass actually does make it a little bit more. It's been a big day. This glass makes it look tighter and finer and fresher, but you don't get as much of the fruit or the florals in this glass. And Craig, I am going to answer your question. I think we'll talk about this wine because, I mean, this wine is a 2019. So compared to most of the current release Pinot Gris that you see out on the market at the moment, they're going to be 21s, 22s, and those Pinot Gris are going to be fresher and more pear fruited, and I think a little bit more similar in their kind of fruit profile to a Sauvignon Blanc than this wine. This one's got a little bit more savouriness, got a bit more development and evolution in it. And it's one of the reasons that we hold this wine back to let it do a little bit of aging in the glass. Richard's looking like he could do with a glass of wine. He's skulking around the edges. Hello, Richard. You need a glass. Hello, Michael. Michael, evening, my pack, late order is not there yet. Oh, I'm so sorry, Eddie at Brisbane, so couldn't get to it. Oh, good. Excellent. From Milan. How cool. IT always gets in the way of a good conversation, doesn't it? But lovely to see you, Michael. Thank you for joining us. And you've got this lovely pack. Hopefully it will arrive very soon and it'll be waiting for you when you get home from Brizzy, and you'll be able to enjoy it all over again. So in this glass, it does look a little bit, it looks a bit cheesy and it looks a little bit tropical fruity. There you go, Dad. And Richard's chosen Magnum glasses for him and Jill. Yeah, Cotty say lemon in the smaller glass. I totally agree. Lemon and sort of like a preserved lemon rind. There's a little bit of almost orangey, mandarin-y kind of evolution on the nose here. I'm going to put it in this glass now because I prefer it in this glass. So here we go. And Cotty has said that in the sweeter in the Pinot glass and more complex on the nose. Yep, it's got more florals. It's going to open up much faster in a Pinot glass. I think I've been converted pretty much to drinking all of my Pinot Gris in a Pinot Noir glass. Craig, you're seeing how isn't it different? It's such a transformation, and I think that we get a little complacent. Those of us who have sort of done the wine glass sort of thing in the past get a little bit complacent and think, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then you do the experiment again, like tonight, and it just makes all the difference in the world to the wine. Orange blossom in the smaller glass, absolutely, Kay. There's a little floral note to it, but in the Pinot glass, the floral note kind of becomes more generous, but it's more sort of white blossom. Hello, Sue and Jeff. How you going? Lovely to see you. And it's really it's opening up all of sort of that cheesy dairy notes kind of receded, and the florals have come up, but there's also a really nice kind of savory, almost there's almost for me a slight charcuterie kind of a smell, like the sort of the sweetness of mortadella or a really good Italian style Parma ham. There's that kind of sweet meatiness that I think makes this wine such a great match to those cured meats. That's good, Craig. Never stop learning on Drinks with Kate. That's absolutely right. And in this glass, I haven't even really felt the need to put it in my mouth yet, probably because I'm chatting away and listening to the sound of my own voice, but also it's opening up beautifully in the glass. It also looks, I love looking at it on the screen. It looks so pretty on the screen. So Shell, good work. So Shell, subtle spices in the atta dishes are perfect. No heat, just flavour. I think that's right. Coconut. I think a little bit of turmeric, even tamarind can work with this so well. Fantastic with your pizza, Kay. I'm so pleased. It is it's a really good wine with pizzeria flavors. And Shell also asked me about, because there's a little bit of tomato in most of the dishes from Atta where you got your takeaway. And I think this wine copes really well with a little bit of tomato, that sort of sweet umami kind of character of tomato works really well, in the same way that tamarind, that sweet sour kind of tamarind kind of tanginess works really well with this wine. Alison, back with your Pinot glass. Good work. Have a play. And even if you feel like putting some in one glass, some in the other, and kind of, having two glasses on the go, it'll be really fascinating to see how it evolves. All right, I'm going in. I agree, Craig. I get that toasted coconutty note, but also there's coriander and cumin and tamarind and turmeric notes on the nose and on the palate for this wine. And it's one of the reasons a lot of people talk about matching Pinot Gris to spicy food, but then a lot of people just go hard on the chili and forget about all the other spices that make up, a really good Indian spice mix, or even a Thai spice mix, those kind of things. I find Thai food a little bit more problematic with this kind of wine because it is generally so heavy on the chilies. But a lot of Indian dishes that don't go too hard on the chili can work really, really well because it's really beautiful. Kay is saying chili's a top layer to be used lightly and brings out the flavors. That's right, not to take over. Hello, Jeff. Lovely to see you. Thank you for tuning in. We've missed you. It's always nice to have an old friend come back to drinks with Kate. The lamb soup of the other day, Fiona, would also be a fantastic match. So Moroccan spice can work really, really well with this wine as well. Masman curry, Peter, could work really well too. Hello, Peter. Anything that's got, I think if you go for a curry that's got lots of different spices, layers of spice with not too much chili, and a fruity base, I think can work really well, which was why I liked that couscous recipe that I sent out to you, because it's got a little bit of dried apricot in it, which brings out the fruitiness, which this wine has got some of that sort of slightly dried fruit kind of richness to it. It's kind of gone beyond pear, and it's okay, still looking for a wine. So Craig's still looking for a wine to match to a Reaper Pepper pizza. I would also be struggling, Craig. I would go for beer with that personally. So Cotty, I think that the chili thing is also, it's very personal how much chili you can handle and how much chili you think the wine can handle, because chili can be quite fruity and can bring out the fruitiness of wine. But it can also, because it can be numbing, when it's too hot, then you lose some of the subtleties of the wine, and it can make wine taste quite bitter. I think that if you serve the wine slightly warmer, and I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, because when you're having spicy food, you want a cold drink. But I find if you serve your Pinot Gris closer to room temperature, then it allows the complexity of the fruit and spice flavor in the wine to come through more. And when it's colder, when the wine's colder, it'll show up the acid, and the chili will fight. So then you get that kind of, and you don't get that nice richness. Hello, Hannah and Jackie and Zach. Good to see you. Craig and Kay have gone off on their little date night organisation, so that's fine. You are going to have a little bit of time over the next few weeks to entertain yourselves when I'm not around, but we'll talk about that a little bit later once we've got through talking about the wine. So Cotty, are you finding the chili a bit too much for you in the dish? If you are, just have some water on the side, and the water will kind of help. But I also like that dish because I really like chickpea flavors, that earthy, nutty flavor that you get from the chickpea. With Pinot Gris, I think they're a really nice match. And I know some people hate chickpeas and just can't do them and find them weird. I'm a big fan of a chickpea, and I just think you need to make sure that they're cooked well and make sure that they've got the appropriate other ingredients with them to bring out their flavors. So that was why I chose that recipe. Also, because of my vegetarian May that I'm doing, I thought I'd make you all succumb to it. I think that's right, Shell. The poppadoms are really good with the wine because of the chickpeas, and they're salty, and they've got that, that fried kind of character to them, which works really well with the flavors. So So this Pinot Gris also, I was just having a look because we're struggling a little bit, as I keep telling you, with having enough wine, enough wine to go round. And so I was looking at stock levels, and turns out we've got sort of less than 100 cases of this wine left to sell, which is really a bit sad. But I think that people who get onto it and get into it are going to really enjoy it. So it's a young wine now, and we've done quite a bit of looking at Pinot Gris with some age on them, and we'll do some more of that going forward. And I am still working on the next Drinks with Kate box, but it's going to be another goodie. Yeah, it was only released on Sunday, Kate, but in 2019 we didn't get very much fruit, and so it was a small crop. We've sold a tiny bit of it to the UK, so that's depleted it a little bit, but not huge amounts. And it just sometimes there's just not a huge amount of fruit around, so a little bit of a shame, but that's okay. I do think still you guys are out front as far as understanding how delicious our Pinot Gris are and how well they age. And I think there's still a lot of people out there who don't bother tasting it, or who don't really think about Pinot Gris when they're thinking about Moorooduc Estate, because they haven't had good Pinot Gris, and so they don't bother tasting ours. And so in a way, with a vintage like 2019, that's okay. We can keep it a little bit of our own little secret for ourselves. Craig, the wine's a lot closer. You think the wine's a lot closer to peak earlier than some of the others, a bit turbocharged. I think that's an interesting comment, but some of the others looked like this when they were this age as well. So I would not discount the idea that this wine will probably be able to age pretty well for quite a while as well. But I agree, it's looking really beautifully ready to go. Michael is saying, you love your Gris at least 10 years old, but bad at aging any whites. I know, it's tough. One of the wonderful things is that it was sort of it was a nice overproduction that we did back in the 13 and 14 vintage, and it means that we've got some good stocks of the 2013 for you guys to be able to buy. So I think if you like the 13 from when we tasted it a couple of weeks ago and you want to purchase some more, we haven't put the price up significantly, so it is a wine that you can have a really nice play with. Okay, I think that probably the Garden Pinot Gris would be 2012, because we only made a single vineyard Pinot Gris for 1 year. We've got cat fight on the roof or in the ceiling. Well, no, there's a cat meowing as well, Dad. There was cat going off, and a possum also. So we're having, exciting times in the roof. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but that's what made the dogs bark. Got the 2012 as well, and the 2013 garden vineyard would be Pinot Noir, maybe, Kay? I'm pretty sure we didn't make a 2013 garden Pinot Gris, but I would be very happy to be corrected. I'm pretty sure that wine didn't exist. But anyway, send me the scan of the label. It's Moorooduc Estate. Yeah, I thought it was Moorooduc Estate. And delicious. And the 2012 garden with lunch on Sunday. Yep. Thank you, Linda. Hello, Linda. Awesome. All the brains trust are on tonight. That's fantastic. I haven't heard from Jeremy yet. He's Jeremy's having a rest from wine this week because he might have possibly done something silly on the weekend. I just outed you, Jeremy. I hope you're not watching. Anyway, Jeremy's on a health kick this week. But he did say he was going to say hi. overdid it. We've all done it before, haven't we, Linda? Probably not you, Linda. You're very sensible. I'm getting now some real kind of tropical. It wasn't wine, that's right, Peter, and that was his mistake. He would have been okay if he'd just drunk wine. Jeremy had a significant birthday a few weeks ago, so it's fair enough that he can be a little bit silly every now and again. It's nice to know that I'm not the only silly person around here. All right, so I will come back to your question in a minute, Craig. That's a very good question. I'm getting a little bit of star fruit and some mangosteen and some tropical fruit characters coming off the nose. I was trying to work out what they were, and I think that's where we're at. It's not quite mango, but mangosteens are kind of I think a little bit more delicate and a little bit more perfumed. I think you did get too biostimulated, Shell. That's absolutely right. Mucking around with silly things. So as I wait for this wine to open up, I'm going to put a little bit more in my glass because I can. I will explain the Instagram story this week. So I might have mentioned previously that Richard is quite interested in, what is it you're interested in again, Richard? Regenerative agriculture, it's called. I'm not going to let him start explaining it because climate change as well. So and politics. And we're not going to talk about climate change or politics today, Jill. Don't be naughty. So regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture involves. Thank you, Alison. So. No, it's not available at Celador, Craig. It's too precious, the biostimulation products. So what we were doing in that Instagram story is Richard and Jeremy were preparing the seeds for the next cover crop to go between every second row of vines and also to go on the paddock that's getting prepared for planting, hopefully this winter if we can get hold of vine stock. Not this winter. Next winter, in 18 months' time. So I've still got a bit more soil preparation to do to that soil. And there's a cat. There's another cat outside yowling and attacking possums, Jill. You two are being noisy tonight. Shush. I'm being disruptive. So the seeds were being got ready for planting, and they were biostimulating the seeds. So they were spraying a couple of different products on the seeds to make them better seeds, growing better plants, better root systems down into the ground, breaking up the soil compaction, making space for mycorrhizal fungi, and bugs and worms and all sorts of good things under the ground. And the things that they were spraying, I believe, were worm juice and a special liquid organic compost tea that Richard has been making. And so they had to spray them onto the seeds to get the seeds ready for the sowing of the seeds. And the seeds are now in the ground, getting ready to go. And if you come to any of our lunches in the next few weeks and months, you may very well get served some turnips and or what are the other things, Jill? Daikon radish, because we've got heaps of them growing in the vineyard as part of our multi-species cover crop that we're growing to regenerate our soil. So there you go. That's what we were doing this week. And Jeremy and Richard were having a lovely time, and they got the concrete mixer because previously they tried doing it in a bin with a shovel and it was all very messy. So you put the seeds in the concrete mixer and it swirls them around, and then you just spray them and it coats them all nice and evenly. So little bit of Richard would say it's not magic, but a little bit of magic dust on the seeds to make even better soil for growing even better grapes and making even more exciting wine for you guys in the future. And yes, Craig, Nebbiolo, there will be some Nebbiolo in the new paddock. There will be some other things as well, probably, and we're going to have lots of fun with that. But we're planting also some Nebbiolo down next to the Shiraz vines, hopefully this winter. Is that yes, that's happening this winter. So the Nebbiolo is going in the trial Nebbiolo, 5 rows. How many rows? 7 rows of Nebbiolo, Craig. Half an acre of Nebbiolo. You heard it first here tonight. Absolutely crazy. So Cotty wants to know, some will be harvested and some dug back in. No. Some will be harvested, yes, but one of the important, and Dad's going to come running over and start lecturing to you in a minute. So hopefully I've listened enough to what he's had to tell me and the books that he's made me read that I get this close enough to write for him not to absolutely freak out. But one of the things about regenerative agriculture is that we would like to disturb the soil with tillage or digging things back in as little as possible. So the plan is for things to grow up and for us to slash them back, so then the green tops of the plants will naturally mulch back into the soil, but the roots of the plants will be in the soil and they will just kind of open up the soil texture and disintegrate and create better soil and more topsoil as a result of that organic matter being in the soil and staying in the soil and us not disturbing it, so that the mycorrhizal fungi can do its job as well. Because when you start digging soil, then you break up the connections between mycorrhizal fungi. Really incredible stuff. And if you dig it, then you break up its connections, and you break up the connections between the roots of the vines and the soil and all of the biomass that's in the soil. Did that sound good, Richard? Yeah, pretty good. We don't need any more detail tonight. Are you sold on the whole biodynamic thing? Craig wants to know. No, we're not, Craig. This is different from biodynamics. This is science-based, whereas biodynamics is a little bit more mumbo-jumbo magic stuff. It's lovely, and I think most people who are practicing biodynamics well are doing almost exactly the same thing as we're trying to do. But there's a lot of things in biodynamics that you get told, we don't know why it works. You just got to trust in the everything and make it go. Cow horns at midnight and tiny doses of things being sprayed on vines to bring in the sunshine and the warmth so I think probably biodynamics works because of similar ideas to what we're doing, but it's sort of the explaining it to people who have no science in the past, and it so hasn't come beyond that. And it's a lovely, and I think biodynamics is awesome for anyone who wants to do it, and if it makes you feel happier about how you're farming your farm, whether it be a vineyard or something else, then I have absolutely nothing against anybody doing biodynamics. It's just not for us at the moment, at least while Dad's still alive. I just said that. I said that to annoy him. Okay, trust in the universe. Yeah, exactly. There's absolutely, David. There's no harm. Absolutely. And it means if you run a property biodynamically, then you have to be much more careful with how you look after things, and that has to be much more hands-on, because you can't just, if disease runs through the vineyard, you can't just put on a chemical spray because you've committed not to. So I think the cows get to keep most of their body. They just lose their horns, don't they, David? Maybe that's me being naive again. Do we have to kill all the cows to get their horns? I don't think so. I think they just give their horns willingly to the process. Anywho, I think there's lots of things. So basically, so what I'm missing, am missing any questions? Fiona wants to know, are the turnips and daikon a scientific choice or are they a culinary choice? Richard, are the turnips and daikon a scientific choice or a culinary choice?
Diversity of plants have an amazing capacity.
They can't hear you from there. So I'll translate. It's okay. I can translate. So he's saying diversity of plants has a greater capacity to bring goodness into the soil. And so we want to have things like root vegetables, and we want to have brassicas, and we want to have legumes and leafy greens and celery and cereals. So it's part of the mix. And we've got flowers in there as well, just to make it look pretty. We didn't choose them. They came in the mix. And obviously, turnips and daikons like our property because they've done very well and they're popping up everywhere. Okay, Cotty has very kindly brought us back to focusing on the wine. Thank you, Cotty. It's getting a bit murky there for a while. And I agree, the wine is getting better and better, and that's why I said I think Craig, this wine does have the potential to age really nicely because it is getting better in the glass, and it's opening up, and it's evolving, and it's changing, and I'm starting to see some of that. I'm finally starting to see some of that quince fruit coming through, which took ages. It was sort of tropical fruit before, and now it's sort of settling back down into really ripe quince. And slightly, slow cooked quince aromatics as well, a little bit of honey, quite a lot of spice still, all of those lovely cardamom, coriander, spices and all of the things we talked about before are still there, but they've just kind of settled down a little bit. And I think looking really terrific. Cotty, did your chili settle down or did you have to sort of separate the wine from the food? Thanks, Shell. I love this wine, and it really kind of, those aromatics and flavours are some of my favourite sort of smells of late autumn. Because I used to live in North Fitzroy. One of our neighbours had a quince tree, and so many people have quince trees and never harvest the quince. And these people had this quince tree that hung over the fence. And I'd pick quince when they came over the fence to me, and you pick them sort of pretty ripe and then put them on a plate inside and let them ripen up more in the warmth of inside. And they give off this incredible perfume. And I just think it's one of the loveliest smells of autumn is quince ripening and developing, and then you cook them and they develop even more perfume and more aromatics. So I think that's probably why this wine resonates for me, because it's one of my happy smells is that smell of quince and that little bit of honey and the spices. So and just a nice amount of acid, not too much acid, but just enough to keep it fresh. Cotty, the wine's better without the food. Hungarian hot paprika is really hot, yeah. I think, and that's also the problem with cooking with spice. And I think if you make that dish again and you make it to go with this wine again, then you might kind of pull back a little bit on the spice, maybe have a little bit of spice on the side to kind of add if it's not tangy enough. But I think different people, as I said before, different people have different tolerances of the spicy. Real Hungarian paprika is so good. Craig, we have a number of Hungarians in the Drinks with Kate group. A couple of them are off in Korea and Japan at the moment. If anyone's noticed that Rob and Deb have been missing for a little while, they've gone travelling. But Cotty has the background to Bali now. Oh yes, are they already in Bali, Alison? Oh gosh, I think we're seeing them in a couple of weeks for a day or two. Very cool. Anyway, so as we've ranged across many topics, chocolate-coated quince cheese at the moment. Oh, yum. Sounds beautiful. Your Hungarian mate hooks you up twice a year, Craig. That sounds good. Well, when you next time you come down here, you have to give us some notice, and I can hook you up with our local Hungarians. They're pretty serious about their spices and their paprikas. Okay, moving right along. Keep enjoying the wine, but I'm going to talk now about what's happening over the next few weeks, because I kind of alluded to it last week. I will send out an email with all the details so that you don't have to remember it now, but I thought it was probably worth just going through the next little while, because life gets a little bit complicated for a little while. So next week, we're going to meet here again. I might be at home, depends. I'll explain all next week. And I think from the response that I had last week and a couple of emails that I've had over the week, that Grenache was pretty popular as a wine for us to explore next week. So somebody asked me if I could recommend a Grenache. A Grenache Shiraz Mourvèdre is also a good option. So if you want to do a GSM, if you want to do a Grenache, if you want to bring something that is a favorite for you, that would be fantastic. I am so organized this week, so proud of myself. I have got a bottle of Grenache here that I'm going to open next week, and it's from a producer that I think I've mentioned to you before. I think he is a terrific producer. Jeremy Magyar. Hello, Jeremy. Yes, another one of our Hungarian friends. Lovely to see you. Welcome, Jeremy. I wonder if you'll be ready for some wine next week for the Grenache. So this is a friend of mine who makes wine in the McLaren Vale, which I think Grenache in Australia, the best Grenache that I've tasted from Australia is from warm climates, and I think McLaren Vale and Barossa are the two places that you want to be looking at. Straight Grenache has to come from mature Grenache vines, because young vines produce pretty unexciting fruit. So you need that vine age. And there are some incredible vineyards in McLaren Vale and in Barossa that are seriously well aged as vines and produce incredible fruit. So I am going to be opening the SC Pinot Grenache from 2021. Now, it just says Grenache on the front, but this is a single vineyard Grenache, so I'm going to show you the back label. Hopefully you can read it. It's from Old MacDonald. I want to say Old MacDonald Farm. I always want to say Old MacDonald Farm, but it's the Old MacDonald Grenache 2021. So he makes two. He makes a Smart Grenache and an Old MacDonald Grenache, and this is the Old MacDonald, which is fantastic. Kay, you've told me about Mount Majura Canberran Grenache as well. Gosh, you're all so excited. Yes, David, SC Pinot is the one that I'm going to be opening next week. Jeff Hewitson is also fantastic. The Hewitson wine tends to be a little bit richer and heavier, so a little bit less to my taste, but I think the Hewitson wines are gorgeous. There's a few others, so I'll give you a few on a list, but I'm going to be drinking the SC Pinel Old MacDonald Grenache from 2021, so you might like to get hold of a bottle of that. You can buy this wine online on the SC Pinel website, but you can also generally source some of these wines from better wine shops certainly around Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide. I'm not sure how widely distributed they are in Queensland, but if you order the bottle tonight or tomorrow, you've got a good chance of having it with you by next week. If you've got a Grenache in your cellar that you want to open, Jeff McKeon's going to open a Samuel Gorge Grenache, which will be delicious. The other McLaren Vale producer that I really rate is Yangara. I think the Yangara Grenaches generally are awesome, but there's a few from Barossa as well that I'll pop on a list and send out to you probably on Monday. I was gonna say I'd try and do it tomorrow, but that's not gonna happen because I'm out and about tomorrow, so that's not gonna work. But I'll try and find some ones that are pretty easy to get. As far as Shiraz, Grenache, Mourvedre is concerned, then there are some particularly good ones coming out of Barossa. I think the St. Hallett's is an oldie but a goodie. I don't think they do a straight Grenache, but they do an SGM, which is delicious. And don't forget that Grenache and Grenache blends are made in other places besides Australia. So if you want to get something from Chateau Neuf de Pape, from the Southern Rhone, then that a lot of those are predominantly, if not 100% Grenache. A Côte de Rhone usually has some Grenache and some Shiraz in it, so we can certainly talk about Côte de Rhone. In Spain, there's some lovely Grenache, which is called Garnacha in Spain, which should be fantastic. From Priorat is one of the best places for Garnacha in Spain. They're quite expensive wines, but whoo, they're delicious. So yeah, if you want to go wider than Australia, then absolutely go crazy. And we'll talk about all things Grenache next week. Jeff McKeon's also suggested the John Duval GSM, which is terrific. Also, Torbreck does a really good GSM. So that's another nice, not too expensive and fairly easily accessible GSM from Barossa. Hopefully some of those will give you some good ideas. As I say, I'll send you a list of other things that I think of next Monday. In the meantime, I'm going to love you and leave you with a little bit of Pinot Gris. It's been awesome. Oh, what was I was also going to tell you about the following few weeks. After next week, we will be having 2 weeks break when I'm going on an everything detox to do some yoga. I'll be away for 2 Thursdays. Is your DB online? Craig, more words, please. Is your DB online? Vivino, Craig, but no online. All right. Sorry, Craig. Kay and Craig. Gotcha. Database. Aha. Gotcha. Thanks, everyone. Oh yeah, Kay checked her wine database. Estate Pinot Gris Shiraz 2017. That would be delicious. All right. It feels a little bit like slow speed dating now, Craig. All right, my dears, I'm going to love you and leave you. This wine is evolving and changing again on the nose. I think also Jeff Plant is a granddad. What? Congratulations, Jeff. I look forward to hearing more. Ministry of Clowns Grenache, that would be beautiful. That's awesome news. Here's cheers to Grandpa Jeff. You're really old now. Congratulations. That's very, very awesome. Cheers, everyone. I'm going to head off. Unfortunately, I have another meeting to go to. Enjoy. Jeff, aren't you in your early 30s? That's why he wouldn't come on camera, because he wanted to maintain his youthful guise of being super. Peter Dwight jumps in at the end. Hi, Peter. Awesome. Excellent sesh. Beautiful wine. Thanks, Shell. Thanks, everyone. Jeff, we'll have to get you back to tell us all about your new grandchild. It would be wonderful to hear all the details. So in the meantime, I'll see you all later. I'll see you next week with Grenache, and take care and enjoy. And Peter and I will get some links out to you for some of the wines that we've tasted over the last couple of weeks, that we said that we had some for you to buy that we haven't sent to you yet. And we'll send you the next Drinks with Kate link very, very soon. So that we will be starting in 4 weeks' time. I'll send all the details in an email because it's too late to go through all that now. I'll see you later, guys. Take care. Cheers. Where's my button? Okay, I'll try that again. Cheers.